This is a Sorceress leveling guide for Diablo 4. I'm going to show you the best ways to level up as fast as possible, at least in the beta, early stages of the game. So, first thing you're going to do is get the right abilities. So, for leveling, the most effective way to level is to get Arc Lash, and then to get these two upgrades so that you can move faster. Movement speed is big when leveling because you just want to go through things as fast as possible. Then, for these, you can get whichever one. In the beginning, I would get Frozen Orb once you get high enough level to grab one of these, but eventually we won't even use these later on. So then the other thing that you'll want to do is once we get to here, you'll want Flame Shield and Teleport. But Teleport especially because this lets you traverse areas way faster and stay alive. These two ones give you survivability, but also Flame Shield gives you an insane amount of DPS. And then, I mean, we're going to talk about more in just a second, but really quick, then once you can, you get Ice Blades. Use that for boss killing because you get that plus these two talents. Reduces all your cooldowns and lets you do crazy DPS to bosses. Then you get Blizzard for more AoE damage, more boss damage. And then eventually for an ultimate, you get Unstable Current. So get those in that order, and it'll help you a ton. Then what you're going to do is you're going to find a random side dungeon, like this one, for example. Everything grows with your levels. It doesn't really matter. Just make sure it's not a campaign dungeon. So we're going to go to this side one, for example, and we're going to go and beat one of these. From my experience, generally speaking, the absolute fastest way to level up your Sorceress is to just have a good build and then to rush through these dungeons as fast as possible. And then there's a way to reset them, which I'll show you afterwards. But the biggest thing when doing this, though, isn't just running through them. It's trying to group them up. Now, if you have this build that I just talked about, then you'll be able to more easily just AoE farm. So you're ideally going to do things like this and just kill everything all at once with this crazy OP build that I already posted about in a previous video. And then you're not going to, if you want to level even faster, you're just not going to be perfectionist at all. You're just going to kill the majority of the enemies, and then you're just going to move on to the next room. Also, if there's tons of ranged enemies, you may want to just not even deal with them because they're just too spread out. Not even worth wasting the time on it. So then you're just going to keep on using your movement abilities to just rush through this place and just beat it as quickly as possible. And then after we beat it, we're then going to go for a reset. So just generally doing this, trying to create multiple rooms of enemies all at the same time so you can speed up the process, and then using your abilities to get things done as fast as possible. Using the abilities I showed you help a ton, like I said. And again, just rushing through the dungeon. Now, once you're done with the dungeon, there's a few things you need to know about. First one is you can actually just open the map and go back to the entrance and click there in order to leave the dungeon, which will save you a lot of time later on if you don't know how to do that. And then once you leave the dungeon, you can go to the map by pressing M, and then over here, make sure this is out by clicking that, and click Reset Dungeons. What that'll do is then you go back in, the dungeon is completely reset, and you're just going to run it again and again and again. Now, this is going to be your fastest way to level, but it's not the only way to level, I guess. I mean, you can still do quests to level up. You can do all sorts of stuff to level up if you want to. They're always going to be slower. From everything I tested, like by an insane amount, nothing is even close to as fast as doing this, because I can kill like one wave of enemies here and get like, 3,000 XP, or I can go do a quest which, takes as long as this whole dungeon and get like 6,000 XP. So it's pretty much a no-brainer to just do it this way if you want to level fast. But mainly, the biggest thing with leveling, just make sure you have this build that I show you, at least for the beta, unless they nerf it by launch or something. Because it just makes this like the easiest thing ever. Other things you can get to help out a lot are going to be things like this one, which gives life when enemies are nearby. That one's insanely strong. Things that increase your basic attack speed if you go with the Arc Lash build that I'm doing here. And then there's other things that give, I'm trying to remember what it is. I have one of these ones that gives basically gives life when I kill things. I can't remember which item it was on. Here it is, 12 life on kill. That one helps a lot just for the grind. And then there's also an elixir you can make in town that gives some bonus XP. And also playing in a party will make you get bonus XP, as long as the other person isn't slowing you down too much. Or if you're both equally good, then it won't really matter too much. And then anything with movement speed is always good, because one of the biggest things that's going to slow you down leveling is just your time to traverse the map. So the faster you are, the more you're going to get per hour grinding, which is also why having the lightning one is really good, because it allows you to just traverse the map way faster and find the big groups of enemies much faster. Like this room, for example, and then I just kill all these real fast. So hopefully that helped you out, guys. I just wanted to give you a quick guide of how to level the fastest as a Sorceress in the Diablo 4 beta, and probably for a lot of the actual game once it comes out. But also just to let you know all the options in general as well. You can do quests and stuff, but this is generally going to be the fastest for the bulk of the levels. So hopefully that helps you out. Now you know how to level the fastest in Diablo 4 as a Sorceress with this build that I showed you. And if this video helped you, feel free to hit the like button and subscribe for more content. That helps boost me in the algorithms. That helped me a lot. But there you go. Now you know the fastest ways to level up as a Sorceress in Diablo 4.